As I rushed home to Mizakin, I realized I could just teleport in and magically remove my clothes and be with Mizakin. I always loved having sex with Mizakin. She's even worse than Aphrodite. The woman is a sadistic sexual deviant like Lilith and Xena, but far more visceral. Her sadistic side comes from her being a demon. Pretty much she enjoyed having sex with me so much that she did it every chance she got. She's a real nymphomaniac. Unlike in the original TV series, she didn't become a full lesbian, but she is bisexual like Xena because she's shared other women with me before, and the women that are with her always get a pleasant surprise from me when they find out how handsome I am and that I can duplicate myself, and the fact that I have a large member. That is why I always enjoyed being with Mizakin. She would often bring beautiful women home with her, and I always made sure they didn't have any diseases in any way on my earth. That was impossible, and Mizakin often tried her best not to get too violent with me while having sex, but for her that's almost impossible. Demons are different, they like hurting people a bit, so she often strangled and choked my clones a lot, and she cussed all the time. She said, "Oh fuck yes you motherfucker." Oh, she'd often insult me and get rough with me, but not too rough, thank God, and I was behind her, the real me, and I caressed her body and she smiled, and then she sucked my member ravenously while her demon form was active. I said, "It's okay my love, calm down, I'm really here now," and she smiled, and then I gave her oral pleasure many times and she had many mind-breaking orgasms. "Oh, you make me feel so fucking good, how do you do that?" "Plenty of practice," I said in her mind with my thoughts, and then she shoved my face hard in her vagina and my tongue went deep inside her, and she said, "Oh my God," and then she squirted her juice all in my mouth and I swallowed it many times, and she said, "Oh, I love that so much, you make feel so fucking good." She said that repeatedly again and again. I had sex with her and days fell off the calendar like water, and I don't even know what day or the year it was, and I said, "How long have I been here in my hyperbolic time chamber?" I had my eternal dragon Purunga install my time chamber in my nice Roman house years ago for situations just like this. That way days outside turned into years in the hyperbolic time chamber. I checked my digital meter, the days outside was 2 years on Earth, and in the time chamber it was 200 years, and she's still not tired. Am I really that strong now? And then Mizakin walked up behind me naked and she said, checking the time, and I said, "Mizakin, we have been in here for 200 years having sex." She, "Damn, it's been that long," and I said, "Aren't you tired?" And she said, "No, are you?" And I said, "Definitely not," and I asked her, "Do you want to stay in here longer maybe?" And she said, "Well, we need to tell Dad about this, and how am I not pregnant right now?" She asked me seriously, and I said, "Yes, I used my powers to prevent pregnancy for now, but when you are ready we can do that. I'm just afraid of you having too many of my children." And she said, "Well, I'm not." And then I said, "Are you sure, Mizakin?" And then she said, "Yes, I'm sure. Now fuck a baby into me, I want to have all your babies," she said sadistically with a lewd expression, and I said, "How many children do you want, Mizakin?" And she said, "Can you give me powers now?" And I said, "Yes ma'am, I can," and she said, "Okay, do that and then I will be more than ready," and I gave her the same powers I gave Xena, but I'm stronger now, so I'm not worried about anyone kicking my ass, I thought. And then she took the powers and her invincible immortality, and she said, "Wow, that's incredible, that felt good, especially the pain. Is this the same pain your mortal women felt when you had to heal them?" And I said, "Yes ma'am," and she said, "I like it." So they suffered, and she laughed loudly and sadistically. Mizakin reminds me of some of those crazy supervillains like the Joker, except she acts like Lobo. She loves torturing people and she loves feeling pain and getting tortured herself, and I thought, could I meet Lobo one day? And I chuckled as I thought about meeting that man, and I said, "I hope I meet you soon, Lobo, somewhere near our galaxy." A man on a spaceship like motorcycle was laughing heading towards our galaxy, and he said, "I'm going to have some fun fighting that strong guy, that Beander guy, baby. I'm coming to ass whooping town." And I smiled, "He's coming, he will be here soon, so he wants to fight me, I will let him through." And then Mizakin woke me up and said, "Who's Lobo, babe?" And I said, "No one, just someone I'm going to have to fight soon, a big crazy outer space biker from another planet. He's an alien, dear." And Mizakin said, "Oh, he sounds cool," and I said, "I think you will like him." "I know I do, and I barely know the guy." The first think it's time for us to continue making love, Mizakin, and for about 2 more years in the hyperbolic time chamber me and Mizakin made love.